This one's for James and it's called Competition Girl.
Don't you know it's worse when you see it's good? And a girl look down when you put your book, and the red light go out of her eye, and the white light makes me burn. obnoxious. Noxious obnoxious. Noxious obnoxious. Noxious obnoxious. Who stares at you? Yeah, cares about you, baby. Who stares at you? Who cares about you? Noxious obnoxious. Feeling yourself. Noxious obnoxious. Taking my help. Noxious obnoxious. Feeling yourself. Noxious obnoxious. Taking my help. Not with mine. A false side. 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 Who cares about you? Who stares at you? Who cares about you? Who stare at you, baby? I don't know. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Nadine on Total Rock, and I'm very excited to be joined in the studio with one of my favourite bands of all time, Magic Dirt. Welcome to Total Rock, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
You've just done an amazing session for us, which I'll be playing tracks from later on. But that's not the reason why you're in the UK. You're here for a special reason. Your latest album's just been released in the UK. You're very excited about that?
Very excited.
Very?
Yes, I'm very excited personally.
I'm very excited personally too, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. We're very happy to have you. Now, this album was released in Australia in 2000, and it's just been released out here through Sweet Nothing. Why so long for it to be released out here?
It just takes a long time to get all the contract stuff worked out,
see.
the legalities. Yeah, but we got there in the end.
You did. And you're out here doing a few shows, which is very, very, very exciting because people like me that are huge fans haven't seen you for a few years. When was the last time you came out here, 96 or 97?
It was actually late 97, did a few shows with the Heads. Yeah, that was really ace.
Do you like coming to the UK?
Love it.
Love it.
It's great to travel, and I have a particular fondness for the UK. So, and we've
really?
been in London for about a week now, so it's really great to be in the one city for a while, and
For a
you
long
get to
period, it's just-
yeah. So it's ace.
Okay, let's talk about the new album. It's called What a Rockstar's Doing Today. It's the third full-length feature from yourselves. And is it safe to say it's the most successful album that you've done so far?
Sales-wise in Australia, yeah.
When I first heard it, because I heard it for the first time only at the beginning of this year, it's so positive and happy and uplifting. It's such a bright and cheery album. Was that a conscious decision when you were writing and recording, or is it just how the band's evolved?
It's a combination of both. I guess we're constantly evolving the whole time and wanting to make better music or better ourselves from the previous album, or also do something different. But I was at a stage of songwriting where I was really big on melody, and I couldn't really help writing the more kind of uplifting songs, and it was just time to write those kinds of songs, and there was no stopping it. So voila.
There's so many catchy songs, like they're all really, really catchy. I can see why it's been so successful in Australia. Do you think that you've got, because of this album, you've got lots of new listeners, lots of new fans?
Yeah, I think so. Along with the old ones, there's some new faces, which is good.
Do you think there was a little bit of a backlash with the old... Because Magic Dirt's a band that's got so many dedicated and loyal fans. Was there any tall poppy syndrome or any sort of backlash with this album?
A tiny bit, but not really.
It's just so
I
damn
was
good.
expecting
That's
it.
why it's just such a great album. And when was this? Because it was released in Australia in 2000. So when did you write the material for this album?
Let me see. I think it was 98, 99. Yeah, like the 2-year period of just constant writing. Yeah.
And where was it recorded? Was it recorded in Melbourne or
Sydney.
Where did we record it? I can't remember.
it was so long ago.
Festival Studios in Sydney.
Right. Okay. And you worked with a British producer for this.
Yes, Phil Vinyl.
What was it like working with Phil Vinyl? Because he's got... when I first listened to this album, my first, I think, word I used to describe it was slick. It's just so slick and bright and colourful.
Yeah, it's slick. It's pretty slick. I wouldn't argue with that. Yeah, Phil was cool. He shuffled around in slippers a fair bit, and we kind of cleaned out his ears a little too. Cause
how did the hookup with him come about?
Just through the record company.
Did you decide that you wanted to use him?
Yeah, we just chose him, I guess, out of the short list of producers we'd been through. But we chose Phil because he wasn't big on using computers, using Pro Tools.
Yeah, right,
we wanted to record to tape and do live versions of the songs, and he was totally into that. Okay, cool. And he's eccentric, which just makes him fun to work with. Yeah, he shuffles around and twiddles his hair.
So the slippers thing, that's real?
Yeah, he actually wore a pair of slippers out. We made him shuffle so much that he wore them out. We had to buy him a new pair.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's so great.
So with the when this was released, obviously you've toured these songs in Australia a few times now, and a lot of new fans along the way. Are these songs live? You like playing them live off this album?
Oh, definitely. Dirty Jeans gets a great response, so that's really fun. There's a bit of crowd participation, which is nice, clapping along to the songs. But it's great seeing people also sing to the new songs, and, the new fans and the old fans. It's just been so good, like a really great reaction, and it's been really positive. And, the album's just done a lot for us, and it's been it's just been great. Yeah, we're really happy with how it's all gone.
Is this an album that you're most proud of, or have all of them?
Oh, they're all our little babies.
Yeah.
It's like trying to pick which child or which which is your favourite child or whatever. Yeah. So it's we're proud of everything.
You always tend to favour the youngest a little bit, but then also your favourite is also the oldest.
Yeah,
but the firstborn.
Yeah, but then you think about the middle kids too, and it's like, oh, I love you too. You're great. And
then all of a sudden you're thinking about the neighbours' kids. Oh, we love them too. Really.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're out here in the UK. You've done a few shows already. You came over to play the Fierce Festival. Now, the Fierce Festival, for those listeners out there that haven't been listening to me going on and on and on and on about it for the last few months, is kind of a mini big day out or something in the middle of London with all these Antipodean bands. For me, it was so surreal walking in there. What was it like for you guys knowing that you're in the middle of London?
Same.
Yeah?
Yeah, all the bands were staying at the same hotel.
Oh, God.
So it just felt like we were at some festival in Australia.
Yeah.
So it was really bizarre.
Totally.
And the weather wasn't that bad, really. You could have been in Australia because it rained a little bit, but not much. And Midnight Oil headlining, did you stick around to see them? Or?
Yep, sure did.
Yeah?
We got to meet them.
My God.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, you lucky bastards. You got to meet Peter Garrett.
And Rob Hurst.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Rob Hurst said he was a fan.
Really?
Yeah,
so
that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been wanting to tell everyone.
Rob
Hurst, man, he likes our stuff, man.
It's awesome. So cool. So aside from the Fierce Festival, you played a few club dates as well. You did the Metro and the Monarch, which I went to see you at the Monarch, which was absolutely sensational. How was it playing? Because when you come over here, I guess when you play London, you're playing to a shitload of Australians, but playing those club gigs, did you think that there was, a lot of British people there to check you out?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
You found it quite positive?
Yeah, it was different. We all the times we've been over here, we haven't really suffered from that the thing where you're just an Australian band, so you must be over here just to play with to Australians.
Unfortunately for a band like Powderfinger, who played just a few weeks ago, they played 3 nights in a row at Shepherd's Bush Empire, and I swear there wasn't anyone but Australians there. And I think when they played, other places in the UK, they would have got more of a wider audience, but just for playing London 3 dates at the Empire, it was just a lot of Aussies. But you guys also played at the Mean Fiddler in London with Sparta. Now that's a band that everyone's interested in at the moment, so I would have expected there to be sort of a new audience there to be captured by you guys. Did it go down okay?
Yeah, went down really well, and that's why we try and get on shows like that, so we're not just playing to the expats.
Oh, that's excellent.
And it was good. The audience were really young, and there was, heaps of...
There was good feedback from the show.
Cool.
From, a lot of the British people there.
Yeah. And did you like the venue?
Yeah, it's ace.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling to have played, at the Astoria.
Yeah.
It's below the Astoria, but still it's the same venue, and it's a nice place, and sounds good.
Excellent. And coming up, this interview is going to be going out after the fact, but coming up next week you're doing a few shows with Rival Schools, who are, I have to say, one of the most popular bands on Total Rock at the moment. They're getting requested left, right and centre. Everyone's very hyped about this band. So again, those shows, you're doing 3 shows with Rival Schools. Those shows, you're going to potentially get a whole new audience. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, and we would rather open up for a band like that than just, do headliners in the city to, people that already know us.
That already know you,
If we come this far, we definitely want to get in front of new people that don't know anything about
Make
the
it
band.
worthwhile.
And it's a lot of fun knowing that you're making a first impression on some people, even if they're not liking it. That's still fun, just to feel a bit cheeky and go, well, take this then.
We're Magic Dirt, we don't care.
We're Magic Dirt and we don't care. Sorry, that was a terrible accent.
If there was any band that you'd like to sort of go on the road with now for that purpose, who would it be? If you could pick one band that you think, right, if we could play with this band, we could really get seen by a lot of kids, or get a whole new audience. What band would you love to do, say, a world tour with?
Well, not only I would consider the band as well if I really liked the music, because I couldn't really tour with a band that I didn't really dig, but maybe something like Queens.
Queens of the Stone Age would be brilliant.
Yeah, we're so excited at the moment because they've just announced a date at the Mean Fiddler, which is awesome because the last time they came out, they played the festivals, the Reading and Leeds festivals, and then they played Brixton, which is a very huge venue. But to see them at Mean Fiddler with Dave Grohl, it's going to be absolutely
and Mark Lanigan from the Screaming Trees.
That's insane.
It's just
uber band.
The
the
best
only
lineup.
bad thing about it is the same night Sonic Youth are playing at the Empire. So you're
With the
torn.
knot twist.
Huh?
With the knot twist from Germany, they're ace.
Are they?
Yeah.
I haven't heard them.
Really good.
Just they've got a new album out actually, which sounds amazing. Like really different to the last one in some ways. But I just bought their first album, which it's really metal, but they've kind of got all disco beats now on their latest album. But it sounds amazing.
Oh,
It's
really?
a disco guitar band.
Yeah, cool.
What are they called?
No Twist or Not Twist.
Twist.
The Not Twist.
All right, I might have to check that out. I wasn't aware of that because I'm so torn about who to see because I've seen Sonic Youth before and I've seen Queens before, but I think seeing Queens at such a small venue.
Go to Queens.
Yeah, has to be done.
Yeah, it has to be done.
And the horrible thing is that Sonic Youth are playing 2 nights at the Empire. The first night they're playing, the Distillers are playing at the Underworld. Do you guys know the Distillers at all? They're an awesome, really, really good punk band. They're on Hellcat. And I've never seen them before, so I don't think I'm going to see Sonic Youth at all because I've got to pick. And that's what I hate about when bands come to London. It's so annoying because in Australia, it's so so rare that bands come out anyway. You're never going to have like 3 bands on the one night to pick. But here, it's just
never going to clash.
Constantly clashing all the time. So after you do the shows here with rival schools, you're heading to Japan.
Yay!
Yeah, you're looking forward to that. Are you guys quite big in Japan?
Oh, no, not at all.
We've got no idea.
You've not been to Japan?
No.
First time.
Really?
Yeah.
This record came out there, a few months ago, and that sold pretty well, but who knows what it's going to be like.
Really?
We're so excited to check it out. The unknown.
Have you ever actually personally been to Japan? Or
None of us have ever been to Japan.
Oh, wow.
I've never been anywhere in Asia.
No, neither have I.
Other than Singapore Airport.
Yeah. I've stopped over at Narita Airport before, but I haven't actually been out into the wilderness. Yeah. Wow, that's going to be amazing. And then you're heading home to tour again. How long since the last Australian tour?
Almost a year since the last full tour right around the country. But obviously we've been doing shows in some of the bigger towns.
Yeah, warming up and things.
Almost a year since the last tour.
Yeah,
and the tour kicks off in Byron Bay, is that right?
Yep.
My old stomping ground.
Yay!
With the All Night Bakery.
Hey! At the Great Northern. What a fantastic venue that is. I really miss that place. Yeah.
Isn't the bakery open 23 hours a day?
Yes, it closes for 1 hour.
To clean, to do the mopping up. And, Who are you taking out with you? You're taking out, is it Girls Against Boys and...
The Nation Blue.
Now, I wanted to ask about this band because since I've been over here, I've when I first left Australia, I sort of not turned my back on Australian music, but wanted to concentrate on music over here. And that's why I hadn't heard this album till the beginning of this year because I just wasn't interested in Australian music for a while. But I've heard a lot about this band, and there's another band with a blue in it.
The Blue Line Medic.
That's it. So are these what bands in Australia at the moment are really kicking it that you think
Nation Blue, definitely.
Yeah.
The Nation Blue are really heavy, but they're really tight, and they have a good understanding of dynamics.
Okay, the comparison I've heard is Fugazi. Is that what you...
It's very kind of Fugazi, the crazier moments from At the Drive-In,
right.
But
yeah, there's definitely a Nation Blue sound.
Okay.
Like they've got this shtick, definitely.
So you're looking for... Have you played with them before? Or?
Only once.
Yeah.
So you're looking forward to the tour?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Love their record. They're great live. Really good live band.
Excellent. Well, so is there any other bands in Australia at the moment that are really rocking that you think Total Rock should hear about and maybe...
78 Saab, really love them. The Blue Stripes from Melbourne, they're really
Stripes.
Cool. Yep.
Okay.
So many blues.
Yeah, so many
what's
blues.
going on with that?
We need to do more homework. Can you think of anyone else? There's probably heaps, but they're just not in the spotlight.
Yeah, the band that was sort of kicking it when I was last in Australia, and since I've left, have been quite big. Is Eskimo Joe? What's up with them? Are they good, or are they just?
We think that all the time. What's up with them? They sound like boys that have really bad sex, I reckon.
All right.
See, they have this latest video, this song that is, I really like it, but that's about it.
All right, so the video's good.
The video's good and the song is really good.
Okay.
The song's great.
Do you know the name of the song?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'm a liar.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
Although
nice.
they sing it a bit better than we do. Yeah.
That was Magic Dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing Eskimo Joe
Hey.
in London.
So the album What a Rock Star's Doing Today has just been released in the UK. It's available now on Sweet Nothing through Cargo. So you said it's been released in Japan. Where else throughout the world? The US or European release, is it?
Yeah, Germany, and apart from Germany, Cargo have released it everywhere else through Europe.
Okay.
Sweet Nothing.
Yeah.
And also New Zealand.
All right.
Yeah, we went over to New Zealand for the first time last year at the end of the tour, and then again for the big day out.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's an amazing place, and the people are really cool, and the culture is just really rich over there.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
I grew up in New Zealand. I spent 5 years in New Zealand when I was growing up, and I learnt so much about New Zealand culture in that 5 years, and I still don't know as much about Australia. Do you know what I mean? It's just like they get it instilled in them in their education. I think that's fantastic. I salute that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Everyone in our band is very envious of the culture in New Zealand.
It's amazing though.
And the identity as well.
I mean, over here, you meet so many Kiwis over here that are just so proud.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's proud of their country, but Kiwis just have this amazing pride.
Oh,
And they have the balls to say no to nuclear
Yeah,
weapons
I
in
know.
their ports and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which is great.
Yeah, for such a tiny nation, they're kicking it.
the Indigenous peoples are celebrated and revered, and I love that.
Yeah.
Love that about New Zealand.
Just wish that Australia could get its act together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are quite not political, but you got sort of a political stance, and you know your shit about issues like that. Do you find in forums like interviews and things like that you feel the need to discuss important issues?
It's kind of a weird thing when you're in a band and you discuss political issues that you believe in. It's kind of a fine line sometimes.
Sometimes people think, well, it's not really your place because you're just in a band and
Well,
you're not a politician. But do you feel...
Well, I disagree. I think it's everybody's place to be political and to be informed. But we're, number one, I guess, we're all people, but what we're doing is we're creating an art, some sort of art or some sort of product or entertaining. So we're entertainers and we're musicians first and foremost in our job. But if something comes up, like I've been asked to participate in Candle Day for Amnesty International, that's fine, doing things like that. And we've done fundraising stuff for animal liberation and stuff like that before, but that's like you do it, but then you get on with what your number one sort of job. But I think there's a place for it, but it is a fine line. I definitely don't like to get up on my soapbox that's for sure.
There's bands like Midnight Oil and things like that, their songs are political and
totally that's their shtick. Totally.
Exactly.
But even I would think that Midnight Oil, first and foremost, they would be artists, but I would have to ask them that. But I would say, they definitely they have a political slant.
It's hard not to come off preachy when you're up on stage with a microphone as well, So if you're hanging out backstage and you're talking to fans and stuff, we kind of love talking about whatever makes us passionate then. But on stage, as Ad said, it's a fine line, and we would rather just not even go there.
Like, I remember a slightly different issue, but I remember I went home last year for the Big Day Out tour, and at the drive-in we're doing their, we don't like violence and rah-rah, and they're going absolutely sick on stage. And at the Sydney Big Day Out, they walked off after 20 minutes, and there was this huge backlash because people didn't like the fact that they were preaching to them, saying, please just tone it down and don't be so violent in the mosh, we're not about that, and yet they were going sick on stage. And there was kind of a backlash, and a lot of people turned against them.
But I loved what At the Drive-In
I loved it too.
And
That's their thing.
it will always stand in history that someone died at that Big Day Out because of the crowd, and there was one band on the day that said
refused.
it shouldn't go on.
Yeah, that's right.
And like when you're up there, like when you're in that kind of position, you can do whatever the hell you want.
When you did the Big Day Out, you played New Zealand and the Gold Coast, and that was all, or did you do the whole leg?
The whole lot last time, This one just gone, started this year.
Yeah.
We did the whole lot, and then the year before we did just the Gold Coast.
We covered for the Queens.
Because Queen's pulled out.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Too scared or something. Too scared to play the Gold Coast.
Hi, Josh.
So after you do the tour of Australia, you can take some time out and write some more stuff.
No time out.
no
We're just going to
out.
finish the next record.
Time inside writing.
I was going to ask, because I saw the gig at the Monarch where you played a new song, which absolutely rocked. When did you write sort of the new material? Has it been ongoing the last few years?
Yeah, well, it's funny because when Rockstars came out in Australia in 2000, pretty much like a few months after that, well, not even a few, maybe a couple of months, I started writing after it came out.
Eager.
So, so it's been it'll be like 2 years worth of songs. Yeah.
So you're going to do the tour, then you're going to go straight in, start...
Keep writing.
Yep. Yeah. The album's about 3/4 there.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
What was the song Wednesday night at the Monarch? What was that song that you did?
Brat.
With the lyric, I talk a lot of crap.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Everyone remembers that lyric.
Yeah, I just really loved that.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. What I want to do is, when the show goes out, it's called High Voltage Rock and Roll Anthem. So if you two had to pick one rock and roll anthem that you'd put on maybe when your mates came round for a barbecue or before you're going out, what song would you pick?
Whoa. Do I have to just pick one?
Well, see, that's the thing. No one can answer it with just one. 3 tracks that I would pick would probably be Led Zeppelin, Nirvana, Territorial Pissings, and I don't know. So yeah, you don't have to pick one.
All right. Okay.
It changes all the time.
All right. All right. Let's just do 3 we think of now. Okay. What about Dinosaur Jr.?
Yeah.
Freak Scene.
Good.
Yeah.
Iggy Pop and the Stooges, Search and Destroy.
Excellent.
Street walking cheetah with a hide full of napalm.
Excellent. And Tumbleweed, Daddy Longlegs.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Can I just say?
Yeah, good.
I have not heard that in so long. Do you know something really weird? I've got a few listeners because we go worldwide online on the net, and someone sent me an email. They were listening live from Florida, and they said, "Oh, Nadine, you've got an Australian accent. How about some Tumbleweed?" And I just went, "Oh my God, I don't have any!" I couldn't believe someone in Florida was requesting Tumbleweed, but I haven't heard that band in so long.
One of the best bands in the world.
In the world. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so
They're
bizarre.
still going, I think. I think they're still writing. Yeah, they had an album out.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'll come out with something, another album. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Anyway, it's time to wrap this up. I just want to say thank you very much to Magic Dirt for not only coming in and recording a session, but also for taking time out to chat to me today. And while I've got you here, I may as well confess that when I was 17, Life Was Better came out, and it was the soundtrack for my 18th year. And what I used to do, I can't believe I'm going to tell you this, but I used to go into my bedroom and I'd get my hairbrush and I would tape it to my bookshelf so it was the same height as a mic